take a while.
The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Radio Global, Who Knew Productions, JSA Media, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
It is Monday night. Time for some Straight Talk. This is your host, Matt Hasley, coming at you. Actually, the best I have felt in probably 2 weeks. Thank God for medication. And no, not that kind. Not the happy kind. But, no, I've been miserable for about the last 2 weeks with a sinus infection. And I don't know if people didn't hear, but I had... started taking Mucinex thinking it would help me, and I'm highly allergic to Mucinex. So hives everywhere. I don't know if you've ever had them before. When you have them everywhere, it feels like you got ants crawling all over you. So just let that sit home and try to sleep at night with that for about 3 days. But no, they gave me steroids, and there goes my baseball career. A lot of stuff going on in the news. We got election 2016 coverage stuff going on. Got a shooting near the Capitol. Let's see. California, $15 an hour minimum wage. Easter attacks in Pakistan. Easter egg hunt turns brutal. And protest in the Easter egg hunt. Also, Air Force security warning. And more. I mean, it's just nonstop. You know, so people are talking about all the things that we got going on in the news. And you know, you think about the holiday Easter and what it stands for Christians. And then, you know, I mean, if another religion has a holiday, and I want to talk about that first because I think that should be one of the things that we get into first. But another religion has a holiday, and it's not my religion. I just ignore it. But apparently, when you this is came out off of Breitbart, but. Muslim Easter Day massacre kills 72 Christians in Pakistan. And then I listened to him on the news talk about how the president doesn't want to jump out there and then make a statement that he would have to retract. I'm like, if it's not genocide against Christians over in the Middle East, I don't know what it is. The death toll for the Easter Day massacre in central Pakistan has risen to 72. Mostly women and children, along with 320 injured. Reported that a suicide bomber blew himself up Sunday evening in an attack on Christians in a large park in Lahore, where hundreds of families had gathered to celebrate the Feast of Easter. Among the victims are more than 30 small children, who at the time of the blast were playing sports and outdoor games in Gulshan-e-Iqbal Park. The suicide bomber had been identified as 28-year-old Yusuf Farid, a resident of Muzaffargarh district. The radical Islamic group Jamaat al-Anhar, the ranch of Taliban, has claimed the responsibility for the slaughter. Think about that. Your religion tells you to strap a bomb to yourself and blow up little kids. It just doesn't make any sense to me that people think that that's the route that your religion wants you to go. The most that Catholics are expected by their religion, well, 10 Commandments, of course, but was to not eat meat on Friday during Easter. Not strap a bomb to your chest and blow up a bunch of people. I don't see any Hindu people doing that. Buddhism. Protestants. Catholic. I don't understand the senseless violence like that. I don't know where. Maybe it's just the way I was raised. And they talk about, going over and decimating, you're not going to stop that. You got to stop the mentality from where it starts. I heard a commercial today, and it was for troubled youth to get their mindset out of growing up thinking they want to be a thug. And the guy was talking about how he grew up watching his dad dress in a suit every day, and that made his mindset. So, you're almost a program of your environment. But the problem is how do you get that to change? You look at Europe. Europe's doing everything they can to bend over to help the immigrant population that's coming in as Muslim immigrants. And they don't care. They're stomping all over them. They're telling them that they are going to be in control. You are no longer in control. So what is what's the recourse, or how to resolve this? How do you stop this from happening in the future? These people have a mindset that they don't care about. There's no value on human life. There's no value on their life. There's no value on anybody else's life as long as they have achieved their objective. They think they're going to do is die and get 72 virgins when they go up there. I don't know. I don't understand how you stop or how you resolve this situation. It's only going to get worse. And if we bring them into this country, there's going to be definite conflict because they're coming in from a part of the world where they believe in Sharia law. And they believe Sharia law should be done here too. They tell us that we have to have tolerance of their religion, but they don't have tolerance of the religions of other people. I was reading an article right before I went online, and it was talking about an interview that was done on let's see, it was on a Norwegian TV, and it says Muslim leader, and what he had to say. The quote the following in response to questions about Muslim violence against non-Muslims. Mullah Krekar, I don't know if you pronounce that right, Krekar, tells Norwegian TV that it's not only Is it okay for Muslims to kill non-Muslims? It's actually required by Quranic law. It says, further, the Imam says that Muslims have the right to kill anyone who does not respect Islam. That's the mentality they have with Islam. And we're said to don't blame the the few that are radicalizing it against the whole religion, which I agree, but they want to do is come to this country. It's only going to get worse. They have no respect for our religions. We have no respect for our way of life. They have no respect for women, and they have no respect for lesbian and gay people. They have no expect and the people that are saying, "Oh, bring them over," are the people that they disrespect the most. I don't know how. Where do you go from that? What do you do? How do you resolve this situation and think it's going to be resolved in a peaceful manner? Let's see. You look at the way our society is set up. We're a melting pot of different cultures, and I understand that, and we should be. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with immigration into this country, as long as it's legal. I heard a guy talking on a radio station the other day, and they were talking about illegal aliens, or what do you want to call it, illegal that have come from Mexico, that area there. And they said, well, they have committed no crimes. I go, well, yes, they actually have. Every one of them has committed a crime by illegally entering the country. That's a crime. But their sanctuary cities are set up that won't prosecute them. Well, they're talking about these sanctuary cities. How do they keep getting their federal funding if they choose to not enforce the laws? They pick and choose what they want to enforce. Well, if you know there's sanctuary cities, where are they going to do is where are they going to come into this country? They're going to come and go to there because they know they won't get sent back. I'm all for legal immigration. I'm not for just bringing people over here and uprooting them from their country and bringing them in here, because I think we need to do is help them stand up for their country and take their own country back and let them live in their own country. We don't need to bring them all here and become welfare recipients. I mean, if we left them in their own country, we could do the same for them over there and help protect them and help build up their country so they can stay. Do I believe in a temporary ban? Well, I think possibly. Jimmy Carter did it. He did it when the Iranian hostage crisis. He actually deported people, students. Was he called racist and everything back then? No. Jimmy Carter did what he thought was right at the time. And until it affects you right in your face, a lot of people don't want to. They want to ignore it. But to sit there and strap on a bomb in Pakistan and kill 72 innocent women and children, you got a problem. And our government is worried about stepping out and saying something that they might have to retract later. And I'm like, oh, come on. they don't want to get to the point and say that it is genocide against Christianity in the Middle East. If it's not, what do they do on Easter? They supposedly killed a Catholic priest, executed a Catholic priest. It says it was, his name was, let's see here. Oops, I got to clear something off my screen there. It says, let's see, it says, ISIS carried out on Good Friday crucifixion of an Indian Catholic priest in Yemen. He was kidnapped 3 weeks ago in an attack on Old People's Home where 4 nuns were shot. It says Father Tom, and I'll pronounce his name, or spell his name, I'm sorry, Uzhunnalil, was kidnapped by ISIS gunmen in Yemen. Terrorists had previously threatened to crucify an Indian Catholic priest, reportedly carried out the threat on Good Friday. It was Austrian cardinal claims. So they called him Father Tom. But there are, I mean, if that's not attack on Christianity, what is? And why, why can't they come out and say it is? If it's not an offense or offensive for, I mean, they wouldn't even, they want to call everything that happens workplace violence or whatever. For the attacks are only going to get worse. Supposedly, from what I hear through the channels that they're talking about, is that the attack in Brussels is a prelim to the bigger attacks that they want to do in the United States. Rumor from the Brussels attack is the 2 Americans that we know of that died. The bombs were detonated right next to them. So it was intentionally because they were Americans. I have a friend of mine, he's talking about going overseas this summer to Europe, and I'm like, are you sure you want to go overseas right now? I said, right now they're war, and he's yep, I'm going to go. And I'm just like, wow. I got to give him credit that he's still going to go, but I mean, I wouldn't want to go. It just, right now, going overseas anywhere is not probably one of the smartest things to do. I don't think. But they apparently one of the suspects that they picked up in the Brussels attack ended up not being who they thought he was and was released. Who knows? Maybe they released him on purpose so he'll work his way back to where, and they'll follow him. You never know. But with all the stuff that's going on, you got crazy things going on with the election. You get this attack over in Pakistan. And today, we get the attack on, we get the D.C. Capitol shooting. And not just at the Capitol shooting, but it says there was like 8 things that you want to know about the D.C. Capitol shooting. But it says, this is an article that came out, and it was, I got several of them, and it talks about who the shooter was. And I was waiting for them to go really outrageous and waiting for Twitter to start yakking about who the shooter was, and to come out and say, "Oh, this is probably some right-wing nut or whatever," and apparently, it comes out that here you go. The gentleman's name that was supposedly involved, his name is Larry Russell. Larry Russell Dawson is a 66-year-old minister from Antioch, Tennessee. Apparently, Larry Dawson caused a disturbance at the Capitol on October 22nd, 2015. And apparently, Larry describes himself as a prophet of God. And then they got a tweet from it. It says, "To whom it may concern, I am Larry R. Dawson, a minister and true prophet of God. I've been called, chosen, and sent unto you this day. I am not under the law," Romans 6:14. "For sin shall not dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace." It says, "A serious mistake to press law observances in the face of repeated revelations that the believer of this age is not under the law as his rule of life. Therefore, I will not comply with the court order, and nor will I surrender myself to you unto your office. No longer will I let myself be governed by flesh and blood, but not only by the divine love of God." And it says, "Yours in Christ, Jesus Christ, L.R. Dawson." So that was the letter he wrote to the court. And it says, Larry Dawson was a funeral director and embalmer licensed to practice in Tennessee until about 2004. And it talks about other things which I don't think have any relevancy. Talks about his financial status for when he declared bankruptcy. And I mean, it's amazing, this stuff. This has come out today, and they know all this about him. They said Larry Dawson walked into the Capitol armed with a pellet gun. So, and was apparently shot and went to, they took him to the hospital. But it said also in a separate incident, which we didn't hear much about this one, it said the White House is on lockdown in a separate incident after a fence jumper was arrested. So this is as of today. It says one police officer was shot, it says, but then I'm hearing no officers were injured. So, I mean, you're getting conflicting stories. But it says police say there's no current public threat. But the visitor center where apparently the shooting, it remains closed. So, you think about this shooting that went on, and they don't talk about the fence jumper at the White House. I've heard nobody on the news talk about it, except for it came across in, I think it was MSN, MSN News, and that came out of I don't know if it was Reuters or where that was at. So I'm like, that part was not even brought up, but, you get somebody that comes up to, you think about it. You're never going to stop everybody that's completely evil. You can try all you want. You can do everything you can. It's like somebody will sit there and they'll try to do everything to protect their house. They'll put up alarms, security, glass break sensors, you name it, cameras, everything. But if somebody really wants to take the time to break in and do it, they're going to do it. You can get your biggest guard dog in the world, they're going to find a way to do it. Not everything is foolproof. But you look at these guys that's probably one of the... I knew when I was a police officer, the thing I feared most was having to actually shoot somebody. I don't want to do it. I've come so close. I've been in that situation. I was a 20-year-old kid and I almost shot somebody, and I mean, I shook for a good 30 minutes afterwards. You know, I mean, it's not a natural act. And no, I've never heard where police officers get into the job because they want to kill somebody. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, because there's nut people in every way of life. You know, I mean, there's some people that, you know, they're walking that border and then all of a sudden something gets them to trip, you know. And it doesn't matter. You don't know that until they do it. And they're not doing anything illegal until they do it. So, you know, it's... I was waiting for the haters to come out on Twitter and talk about how, you know, this guy was a, you know, probably some right-wing nut, and then all of a sudden he comes out to be, you know, thinking he's Jesus. And whether I, you know, believe or not, you know, the hard part about it is if you're Christian or whatever, and Jesus comes back, most people are going to do is not believe him anyway because they're skeptical of everything. If somebody came up and was actually Jesus and they told you he was Jesus, are you going to believe him? I mean, it's going to be a little bit, you know, tough situation for somebody to walk up to you and tell you, you know, hey, I'm the chosen one, or I'm Jesus, you know, and you're going to go, what? And you're going to be probably going, oh, look at this guy. He's had a little sauce, and he better show me, you know, you want proof. So, well, it's time for our first break. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. We're going to talk a little bit more about, get into election 2016, and we got a ton of different stuff to talk about. So, we'll be back here shortly.
Mom, can you bake me some cookies for school today?
Finally, as a mother, I want to share about St. Julian's macaroons. I am concerned about my child's health, so I pack for his lunchbox, and after school, I give him St. Julian's macaroons as a healthy alternative to many of the store-bought cookies. There are no preservatives and only 100 calories, and he really likes them. So find them in the freezer section at your local supermarket or order online today at www.macaroons.com.
Hey there, sexy. This is comedian Jenny Lavoie. You can catch me with the rest of the gang every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Night Talk with Joe Ross, exclusively on Armed Radio Global. Mwah!
Hey, this is your girl, Jay Monique.
And this is Sarah, a.k.a. Chulita Sarita.
And make sure you listen to us on Armed Radio Global. Catch us on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This one's explosive.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Hey, Joe Rocks, it's Louis Avis, straight from Chi-Town. Call and talk about our website, www.hotsaucevault.com. We got everything you can think of out there, Joe. The hottest hot sauce is not for wimps, mild, medium sauces. We got barbecue sauces, snacks, some of our gift ideas and gag gifts that you can go out and check us out at www.hotsaucevault.com. Hope to talk to you again on your radio show. Kick-ass show. Had a great time last week. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care, Joe. hotsaucevault.com.
Showman! How's it going, everybody? You're listening to Cool 77 Tropical Storm Radio. No, it's not that. All right, it's Thoughts for Food live on Armed Radio Global. You can catch me here every Tuesday. All right, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live. Or you can catch me on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And basically, both of these shows, they go till whenever we set the fuck up. And for the Saturday show, I got a special guest sitting in with me every Saturday. His name is
Caveman Chris here on Thoughts for Food.
Tune in every Monday and Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Straight Talk with Matt Hasley. Live audio on TuneIn Radio and Spreaker.com. Plus live video on Ustream.tv. From the demented minds at ArmedRadioGlobal.com.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
If you're looking to reward, celebrate, recognize, or advertise, get help from the pros at Creative Marketing. Custom imprinted products to give that event a lasting impression. Log on to Creative Marketing on Facebook and click the Call Us button. With over 700,000 products, we're sure to find what is right for you. Remember, think Creative Marketing for all your adware needs.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey everybody, Mike Allen here. You can hear me live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on TuneIn Radio. Or you can visit my website at www.ontheairwithmikeallen.com for more showtimes, updates, and replays. So remember, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, on the air with Mike Allen, right here on Armed Radio Global.
Hey everybody, this is Paul and Jim. Join us on Pod Talk Radio, Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after Night Talk with Joe Rocks,
where we will be discussing subjects one doesn't say in polite society. We're rude and crude and unwavering in our opinions.
So please tune in to Armed Radio Global, home of the big guns.
Boom!
They're from right here in the Quad Cities. 3 Years Hollow. Trying to get them on, come on the show. Man, I got some kick-ass tunes. But Easter egg hunt. It says an Easter egg hunt descended into chaos on Saturday after parents in Orange, Connecticut stormed the field. Children as young as four were trampled by adults in a rampage to steal buckets and grab as many as the 9,000 hidden eggs as possible from the third annual free event at the Pez headquarters. One 4-year-old was left bloody on the sports field, and a 2-year-old was She added, my toddler was standing there with her brothers, were shoved into a field and went with the flow. By the time it didn't matter. I had to go to my boys because it was like an angry mob of chaos. In the toddler field, it was more of a greedy parent field. Not one toddler hunting for an egg. It was nuts. Way too many people, more than their staff could handle. Said more than 1,000 people showed up for the event. Ribbons were laid out on the floor to divide each section, but according to a parent who spoke with WSFB at the scene, as soon as one field opened, it descended into chaos, and the ribbons became submerged in mud. So you think about that, parents getting there, and they're freaking out about Pez. I don't know what was in the Easter eggs. I don't know what they figured was in there. Maybe they thought gold was going to be in there or something. But, I mean, to sit there and, kids get shoved into the mud and get injured over candy. They're just, you just wonder how parents can react to that. So, I've seen Easter egg hunts where they're huge, and it looked like when we had one at the golf course one time, and it looked like a vacuum cleaner picking up all the stuff. I mean, it was really orderly and everything. Everybody was fine. Nobody got out of. But when you start getting parents involved, and they start wanting the stuff for them, and it's like they're fighting over candy. And the event is especially. It's not for the adult. It's for the kids. It's like. You ever watched when you see these people go trick-or-treating and they're way over age, and you're just like, what is going on? Or we used to have it to where in this area here where the different cities would end up doing it on different nights. So you'd see these carloads of pull into your neighborhood, and they're just trying to maximize how much candy they get. I don't know who it's for, if it's for the kids or the adults or what, but. You just shake your head. That's what our society has gone to, fighting over candy. It's a good thing that nobody got seriously injured. But you think of that. There was another article that came out, and I'll get into the one about the people protesting the Easter egg hunt, but. There was another article that came out. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. This is a brawl between families. And it's a massive brawl between two African-American families in Augusta, Georgia, involving up to 50 people, left one teenager dead and 9 attackers charged with his murder. It said, according to police, two families... goaded by taunts on social media, engaged in a massive brawl with weapons, including baseball bats, knives, and fists. Before it was over, to 18-year-old Damaje Bell was lying in a pool of blood, stabbed in the neck. I mean, it says cell phone video of the fight, which I can't believe they videoed it, shows a pair of teenagers mouthing off to each other, throwing punches as large groups of people egg the two on. The video then shows males attacking each other with baseball bats and pipes. Additionally, someone in a Dodge Charger tries to run down some of the fighters several times, even driving through a lawn of one of the homes while chasing down the brawlers. It said police say the stabbing victim didn't even participate in the fight, but was stabbed in the neck the second he exited the house. So, it says Sheriff Roundtree even noted that DeMarge knew his attacker and may have even been friends with him. Roundtree said the fight began at school when crosswords between two teen girls were exchanged over a boyfriend and some racy photos. So you think about that. Two girls started to fight over boyfriends. You know, you thought about way back in the day when I was in high school and you got in a fight and everything, and it was 3:15, meet you in the parking lot. You know, that's what it was. Nowadays it's 3:15, meet you in the parking lot, and we'll get out our bats and our knives and you know, I'm just like, you know, if you get in a fight and you win, what do you win? Oh, I win pride. No, you don't. You just, you know, I mean, I understand that you know, that guy's going to keep picking on you or whatever, but, you know, if you don't fight, or sometimes I can understand that because, you know, my son, they call it bullying now. He was getting bullied. I don't know if he's getting it as much anymore but I had him stand up for himself. And nothing ever happened about it. I thought I'd get called in the principal's office for him to stand up for himself, but no, it's but you get fights over stuff that escalates into people losing lives and stuff over. You know, you think of all the different things that we give crap to, or we talk crap about, you know, gang members saying, "Oh, look at you fighting over because you think you own these streets." Well, I mean, it's the same as a country fighting over, you know, imaginary lines on a map. But I just can't see two families getting to the part where you fight where somebody's going to escalate it into killing somebody. You just got to learn to walk away. You know, somebody died because you were so intent on winning a fight over two girls fighting over a boy. And this young kid dies because of this. I don't know. Where are we headed as a society? You know, you see every day, you see different things where, you know, groups will gang up on somebody and beat them up. And I mean, there was one, and I wasn't going to get into it, but there was an article where these immigrants were attacking. Immigrant young boys were attacking these other boys. But earlier I want to talk about, it says there was this Muslim parents in Dearborn, Michigan are upset after elementary school students received flyers promoting an Easter egg hunt at a local Presbyterian church. It says the Muslim parents say that the Easter egg hunt violates the U.S. Constitution, which I don't know how that figures that is. Muslim told the Detroit Free Press they were concerned about religious implications of Cherry Hill Presbyterian Church extravaganza. They were also troubled by images of a bunny rabbit. Said it really bothered my two kids. Parent Majid Mohini, or whatever, I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, told the newspaper, my son was like, Dad, I really don't feel comfortable about getting these flyers telling me to go to church. I thought churches are not supposed to mix with schools. And I call bullshit. I guarantee you his kid never come home and said that he doesn't feel comfortable. Most kids would ignore it. He's doing this to try to do is be tolerant of my religion, but not be tolerant of theirs. And it doesn't say, it says go to the extravaganza and Easter egg hunt. It doesn't say go there and worship Jesus. So, I mean, it's ridiculous that if you don't like them, throw them away. So the school district did not comment, and the pastor of the church said there's nothing remotely religious about the event. It's a Easter egg hunt. And if I recall, they didn't have Easter egg hunts when Jesus was alive. This is a commercialization of a holiday. It has nothing to do with Jesus rising from the dead. And I don't know how a rabbit would offend them. So if a rabbit runs through their yard, what do? Burn the grass in their yard or what? I'm like, give me a break. If you don't like the flyer, throw it away. It's like if I'm at the mall and I come out and somebody puts a flyer on my car and it's for something I care less about, I throw it away. I don't go to try to get every place banned from putting flyers on cars. It's amazing how this parent is so troubled by this images of this bunny rabbit and extravaganza, Easter egg hunt, that they feel that everybody should be, nobody should be able to get these flyers. That's what I always say. If you don't like it, it's just like you turn on the radio. You don't like a type of music, turn the channel. That doesn't mean you sit there, okay, I don't like this freaking country music. I think you need to change the channel. They're talking about pigs and dogs and goats and losing their house and everything, and they need to ban all that stuff. I mean, it's like, what happened to the freedom of speech? If you don't like the flyer, throw it away. It says, Muslims demand the needs of Sharia law supersedes long-standing American traditions. So it was talking about it's not just in Europe that Muslims have a problem with assimilation. So they want, I guarantee you that the schools will be getting prayer mats for them. But they won't call them prayer mats at the time. They'll call them mats for whatever, for their personal time or something. And they'll allow these kids to pray in school where they won't allow Christian kids to pray in school. Deny that it's not happening is not going to stop it from not happening. All you're going to do is be totally ignorant when it does. To think this flyer offended the child so much, I guarantee you He probably just brought them home, and the parents went, well, we'll have to fix this. We'll get everybody to stop doing it because we dislike it. Next thing you know, they're going to tell the grocery stores they can't sell bacon or pork. And no more of those pork rinds. Well, I don't like those things anyway. But, we have to do is make everybody give in to our demands. You don't like it? Frickin' throw the shit away. It's just irritating to sit there and every time you read an article about this, is that we're supposed to sit there and swallow it and take the crap and not be able to, it gets a little old. Luckily, my kids go to a Catholic school, so they can sit there and they can get Easter egg hunts and all this stuff, and they can do costume parties. They can do, they have mass during the week. That's my choice. And even though I choose to send them to Catholic school, which I pay to send them to Catholic school, I still pay to send some kid to public school off of my dime, off of my taxes. When they sit there and they start separating church and state, where they said, no, you can't do this, can't do that. Now it's got to the point where it's people are so afraid of offending somebody that it's gone way beyond. It's like you read on Facebook, what's going to offend somebody today? I talked about it last Friday, where these college kids were all distraught about reading somebody taking chalk and writing Trump 2016 all over the place on like a hopscotch thing on the sidewalk and stuff. But what did the college do? Rather than telling them to quit being a pussy, oh, wait a minute, let's get you some counseling because you're really, I understand you're distraught. Let's give you this little area where you can sit off on your own and in your own space so you can learn to cope with. I was talking with my son. My son's talking about going, and he wants to have a career in the military. And I have no problem with that. That's great. But he's talking about going to basic training and just saying, what do they call that card, Corey?
Stress card.
Stress card. And I was like, my son's sitting right in front of me here. I said, he goes, do they have stress cards when you're in? I said, well, no, frick is a stress card. What are you talking about? And he goes, well, when you feel like you're being yelled at by your drill sergeant too much, and you feel that you can hold up a stress card, and they'll allow you to have your own space, and you can get like your little own timeout. And I'm like, what? I said, if I'd have held up a card like that, my drill sergeant would have probably kicked me right in the chest. My first week in basic training, after going through reception station, which was, I thought was, hey, this isn't bad. After 3 days of the reception station, I got a rude awakening when they took us to our duty station and beat the crap out of us we did, I don't know how many push-ups, how many sit-ups, how many jumping jacks, how many, you name it. It was just nonstop. For days and days and days. And we had one guy go AWOL the first week, and they brought him back to the barracks and tied him to the bed. Left him tied there. I was like, and they turned his bunk at an angle so everybody knew what had happened. And I was like, holy shit, I'm not going anywhere, I was freaking out that first couple weeks. They beat you down, break you down to where you're just, you're a pile of crap. You're just you could barely do a push-up because you're so sore. I think the first week, my arms felt like somebody had cut them. And the most I could do was 7 push-ups the first week because I was so sore from doing push-ups every day. And then the next week I did like 30, then 40, then 50, then 60. I mean, it was just, they build you up. And, I mean, by the time you get out of basic and AIT, whatever, you're ready to take on the world. I mean, they built the confidence in you. You could run 5-10 miles at a drop of a hat. I mean, you are a machine. So, I mean, that's the thing of what the military does. And I tell you what, it would be great for people. But when he told me about stress cards, I'm like, what the frick is a stress card? I said, I'm thinking to myself, where does that come from? Who comes up with this idea of a stress card? And yeah, I just got a post, and I was like, what? Yeah, I'm the exact same way. I'm just like, what are you talking about? I just got a post on their stress card. What the WTF? And I'm like, exactly. I'd never heard of that before, and I was like blown away to think that our military is pussified that much to go to that. I mean, that just blew my mind. I mean, when I went through basic and AIT, I went through in Fort McClellan, Alabama. Man, I had more red clay in my knees from just doing everything they did. The first, I don't know, it was, I think, the first week of AIT, we got these new jumpsuits. We had to pay for them. It was green sweatpants and a white top with cross pistols on it because I was an MP. And I had the logo and everything. The first day we got them, they made us do grass drills. And if you don't know what grass drills are, is where you just ruin these brand new sweatsuits. You know, we had to pay for them too. I mean, there was no stress-free environment. I think one of the first few weeks, we were running to the range. We had 4 platoons, so there's like 120 soldiers. And we had 30 females in a platoon, the second platoon. And I was in the third platoon, so we're right behind him. We're running, and one of the females dropped and fell onto the ground. And my sergeant, I remember this day, Sergeant Thomas, he was like 6'5". He grabbed her with one hand and hurled her into the ditch. And I was like, I feel great. I'm not falling out. I'm running fine. But, I mean, it was crazy. You probably couldn't get away with anything like that now. But to think about getting a stress card, I was just like, wow. Where does that come from? What leader or military commander comes up with the idea of a stress card? And I'm like, was it, all I can think of is somebody from maybe social services running the military now. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, but in a military job, you're going to run into stress. Everything you do is dealt with stress because it's considered war. I have a friend of mine who is, I worked with him back in Texas. And he was Special Forces. He used to tell me stories about things that they did in Vietnam. And you think about some of the things that they do in times of war, and I couldn't do that. I can tell myself right now, I guess if I had to. Oh, here we go. It says, is it you didn't say if it was true. It says
it was a test program.
Oh, it says a stress card is a card these kids get when they go through basic training when they're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. They are to give it to their DIs. I'm like going, holy crap. The military stress card legend is one of those. I don't know if this has any truth to it or not, but when I'm just even hear about it, and my son just handed me the phone, and it was talking about stress cards. You know, I would think that would probably be one of the dumbest programs to have. Because everything you do in the military is stress related. Basic training is 8 freaking weeks or whatever. Mine was actually 11 weeks because I had 3 weeks of fill. And you go for MP school, you go 17 weeks straight. So I was 20 weeks. You go from, and then I had 3 weeks of fill, so yeah, I had 20 weeks of training. You start out through basic training. Everything you do is stress. You come back to your barracks after a day training, and your barracks is demolished. And you go, what do you mean demolished? They white tornado it. They take scouring powder, and they grease pencil, and they flip your bunks, and mess everything up, and you have to go put it back together and scrub your floor and shine it and do everything back and take care of your boots and everything like that and have everything back in order to the next day. You know, normally in the military, they go, we do more before 9, before most people do all day. That's because we're up at 4. We would actually get up at 3:15 or 3:30 and help clean the barracks before we went to get up at 4 to go to PT at 4:15. So your whole day is stress. When you go to, I remember the first time they gassed us, CS gassed us. And then they ran us home after, which they weren't supposed to, but they did anyway. They didn't care. And that stuff gets in your pores. Burns like crazy. I don't know if you've ever had CS grade gas. Most people that have been through the military, they know what it's like. And it is flippin' nasty. You're supposed to say, when I was in, you'd go in and you knew if a guy's mask wasn't working correctly because the second he walked in the door, he looked like an indie pit crew, like he was on fire, trying to get out of that building because it was just so strong. Well, you're supposed to take a deep breath, pull off your mask, say your name, rank, and social security number. Well, I blurted it out really fast, and I started to walk towards the door, and one of the sergeants was right there, slugged me in the gut, punched me. And I went, and I was gone, done after that. I was gagging, coughing. I tell you what, if you want something that in about 15 minutes, if you're having a sinus problem or something like that and you want to get rid of it, that is guaranteed to get every bit of snot, sinus stuff out of your head in 15 minutes. You're going to be miserable, but it'll be gone because it's all going to run down your face. I mean, you walk around with your hands out like a zombie, hold them out to the side, and they're going, don't touch your eye, don't touch your eyes. You want to rub your eyes so bad, and you walk around this big, giant gravel track. It was like a big circle, and you just drag your feet. I think it took me 2-3 times around before I could actually see. And they take your pictures as you come out. So, yeah, it was kind of crazy. I remember going to. There's 3 times I was CS'd in training, and 2 times I didn't expect it. The one time was the very first time. That one we knew we were going to get CS gas. Another time we went through and there was overhead fire, and we're going through training. And after you get done, you're don your mask, you go into this building. Well, it's got powdered CS on the floor that's about a foot deep, so you're dragging your feet through it, and you're kicking it up. And then when you come out of the other side of the building, you have to do is duck walk across a rope or a steel wire that's 30 feet in the air over a pond. I was like, oh, man, this is not good. And if you don't hurry, they start rocking the rope on you. And then the other time I got CS'd, we went on a 10-mile road march. And we're out in the middle of BFE, I like to call it. Have no idea where we're at. And we're spreading out to eat. And our sergeant's screaming at us, you need to spread out, you MFers. If you don't spread out, I'm going to CS you. Well, that's all it took for me. I'm like, I'm spreading out. Next thing you know, boom, boom, CS grenades go in. And I mean, like to tell you, I must have been, it was like a whirlwind took it right to me and dropped me, and I couldn't get my mask on. I couldn't clear it, so I was in a panic. To this day, I don't know who put my mask on me because I could not get it on. They had CS'd us so much that everybody got it, and he was holding it on my head, and I coughed it clear. After they finally cleared it and the CS had got it cleared out of the air and everything, he says to us, all right, you guys can go back to eating. I wasn't going to eat. I was ready to throw up. I mean, it was just sickening. I don't know if you've ever been CS'd. You'll know it. I take it back. And there was one other time I got CS'd. I was in downtown Daegu, Korea. And I'm sitting at a light, and I couldn't figure out why my eyes are burning so bad. And I turned and looked down the street, and they were tear gas and student demonstrations. And I mean, it looked like they were fogging it. I mean, it was crazy. It was like a half a block down the street, and there was just had this truck, and they were shooting CS or tear gas out of this thing. And I was like, screw this. I ran the light. I was like, I'm not waiting for this anymore. I was in a patrol car and got out of there. If you ever get CS'd and you wear contacts, they will melt right to you. They're not good for contacts. So, yeah. So your stress card means dick. That's what I think. Yeah, you think about some of the things about stress. We had people that would, from stress, they talk in their sleep and walk in their sleep. Well, we had one guy that was always on the end, and he was always talking in his sleep. And he would sit up and yell. Well, he was he tore his ligament in his knee, so they recycled him out. And this new guy got recycled in who had been in a little bit longer, but he could not get along with one of the guys that slept right across me. They argued all the time, fought all the time. So the guy slept right across from me. He goes, I'm going to fix his ass. He took a can of shaving cream and filled his boot up with shaving cream, thinking, all right, I got his ass. So the guy didn't say a word, cleaned his boot out. The next time they went to turn in sheets, I looked over and the guy pulled his sheets out and held them up, and there was a square cut out about 6 inches by 6 inches, perfectly square. And the guy had cut it out a section of his sheet to use it to shine his boots. I was laughing so hard, and he's like ready to kill this guy. And I said, hey, you started the crap. You're getting paid back for what you. I said, when you go down to hold up the sheet, you better do is make sure just hold it so they don't see that hole. He he didn't get caught with about the hole, but it was just so funny because the guy never said a word and got him back. I was just like, yep. They were doing that when we got orders for when you finally get out of basic training and AIT and you're getting ready to go to your new duty station. They were sticking gel shaving cream in people's ears. If they fell asleep, they were putting them in their boots, everywhere. It was just a mess to clean up. But, yeah, I just, it blew my mind when I heard that stress cards. I'm like, all I can think of is, the colleges where they want their area to where they can cope, and because they can't handle it. Like, it just blows your mind to what, they call it the pussification of America. I mean, we're so afraid of offending everybody. And I'm not saying that this is going to, the stress card is would ruin the military or stuff. But I'm just saying it just blows my mind to think that that's the direction that we're headed. We're so afraid of offending people. Throughout the day, you look at it. They don't call them illegal aliens now. They're undocumented immigrants, and I'm like, where is that? Where's that headed? Where do you stop? With the political correctness. We have. We're so worried about the political correctness, we don't see the handwriting on the wall. It's it just shames you. It makes me crazy to think that people would rather ruin this country than have somebody stand up and tell them, would you just shut up and sit down? So, well, we're overdue for break. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back here shortly. I got to get my stress card.
Mom, can you bake me some cookies for school today?
Finally, as a mother, I want to share about St. Julian's macaroons. I am concerned about my child's health, so I pack for his lunchbox, and after school, I give him St. Julian's macaroons as a healthy alternative to many of the store-bought cookies. There are no preservatives and only 100 calories, and he really likes them. So find them in the freezer section at your local supermarket or order online today at www.macaroons.com.
Hey there, sexy. This is comedian Jenny Lavoie. You can catch me with the rest of the gang every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Night Talk with Joe Rocks, exclusively on Armed Radio Global. Mwah!
Hey, this is your girl, Jay Monique.
And this is Sarah, a.k.a. Chulita Sarita.
And make sure you listen to us on Armed Radio Global. Catch us on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This one's explosive.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Hey, Joe Rocks. It's Louis Avis, straight from Chi-Town. Calling to talk about our website, www.hotsaucevault.com. We got everything you can think of out there, Joe. The hottest hot sauce is not for wimps, mild, medium sauces. We got barbecue sauces, snacks, some of our gift ideas and gag gifts, so you can go out and check us out at www.hotsaucevault.com. Hope to talk to you again on your radio show. Kick-ass show. Had a great time last week. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care, Joe. hotsaucevault.com.
Showman! How's it going, everybody? You're listening to Cool 77 Tropical Storm Radio. No, it's not that. Right? It's Thoughts for Food live on Armed Radio Global. You can catch me here every Tuesday. All right, that's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live. Or you can catch me on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And basically, both of these shows, they go till whenever we shut the fuck up. And for the Saturday show, I got a special guest sitting in with me every Saturday. His name is
Caveman Chris here on Thoughts for Food.
Tune in every Monday and Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Straight Talk with Matt Hasley. Live audio on TuneIn Radio and Spreaker.com. Plus live video on Ustream.tv. From the demented minds at ArmedRadioGlobal.com.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
If you're looking to reward, celebrate, recognize, or advertise, get help from the pros at Creative Marketing. Custom imprinted products to give that event a lasting impression. Log on to Creative Marketing on Facebook and click the Call Us button. With over 700,000 products, we're sure to find what is right for you. Remember, think Creative Marketing for all your adware needs.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey everybody, Mike Allen here. You can hear me live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on TuneIn Radio. Or you can visit my website at www.ontheairwithmikeallen.com for more show times, updates, and replays. So remember, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, on the air with Mike Allen, right here on Armed Radio Global.
Well, we were talking about stress cards and how our pussification of America, or here is an article I talked about before. This is an article about a Special Forces soldier, his NCO, being discharged for preventing the rape of a young Afghan boy. It says Special Forces officers are being involuntarily discharged for doing the right thing. Come out in the Army Times that he is going to probably be, they're holding his discharge off until probably May. But what is wrong with that? What does it tell the? They're told, our government tells us to ignore that, and you see these kids are screaming for help because they're being attacked and sexually assaulted, and then somebody does something and we kick them out of the military for it. We're over there to protect and help the American people. And when then somebody does that, our government steps in and says, nope, you're done. Get out. They want people to do is blindly follow, even though they know it's wrong. I don't know what commander-in-chief can allow this to happen. And he says, well, he roughed him up. Well, then discipline him for roughing him up, but give him a medal for doing the right thing, saving this young kid. How are we supposed to sit there and change the mentality of the way the people are over there if we don't actually help the people? Could you sit there and hear the screams of a young boy getting getting sexually assaulted by some POS and not do anything? Hell, I couldn't. I'm sorry. I would have stepped in. It's like so if you're in Pennsylvania and you walked into the showers and you saw that, what was the old coach for Pennsylvania in there with that young boy, and you wouldn't step in then? It just blows my mind that people would think that this soldier should be kicked out of the military because of doing what is right. I consider him a hero to step in. Sometimes I think that we need to overlook, for him to step in and save this child. That's what we are there for. How can you overlook it? You think these kids that are getting sexually assaulted like that, they got to feel that we believe that it is the way that they should be treated. If we stand there and do nothing, they got to think that the United States is in agreement with this pedophile. Over here we call it pedophilia. It's the same exact thing over there. What would you say if this soldier, this NCO, stepped in and defended your child? But it's not your child, so you could care less. That's what ticks me off so much about abortion. Yeah, it's not your child that's partial birth abortion that they could give up for an adoption, that somebody's trying to have a kid that can't. But it's the rights of the women to go ahead. The liberals care more about whether somebody clubs a seal to death or chops down a tree than they do about little kids who die by the hands of some abortion doctor. Oh, and if you crush the parts just right, you can save them and sell them. Yeah. Do I have any problem with women going to get checkups or anything like that? No. Do I have a problem with the facility to sit there and purposely kills these kids and crushes their certain ways so they'll die so they can use the parts to sell them for profit? I have a problem with that. I have a problem with a company that gets federal funding and then gives donations to certain candidates because they'll vote or take care of them when they're elected. I have a problem with that. Why a company should get any federal funding when they're giving away, it's not from the same part. I'm sorry, but it's all under the same umbrella. If you got enough money in one area, you should be giving it away, or getting money in another area to give it away. But earlier I was talking about how, the kids were seeing the Trump 2016. It says, Bill Maher come out with this. It says, Emory University students who were triggered last week by seeing Donald Trump's name written in chalk on campus were offended. Emergency counseling by the Student Government Association. Bill Maher went off on them on Friday night. He says, I so badly want to drop kick these kids in a place where there's an actual pain and suffering. He said, what happened in this country? It said the Student Government Association sent an email to, it says, significant portion of our student population. The messages represent particularly bigoted opinions, policies, and rhetoric directed at populations represented at Emory University. We would like to express our sympathy for the pain experienced by members of our community. It is clear to us that these statements are triggered for many of you. As a result, both College Council and the Student Government Association pledge to stand in solidarity with those communities who feel threatened by this incident. To that end, emergency funds within the College Council monetary policy were created to provide time-sensitive funds during circumstances involving discrimination based on race, gender, sexual orientation, and religion. It says, University President James W. Wagner said in an email that the chalking represents values regarding diversity and respect that clash with Emory's own, and pledged that the university would be addressing social justice opportunities at future annual retreats. So his name said it offended them based on race, gender, sexual orientation, and religion. Well, I have no idea how his name gets to the point where it offends somebody on race, gender, sexual orientation, and religion. And they've been trying to paint Donald Trump as a racist, and I don't see that. And people go, oh, well, yeah, you won't see it because you're white. No, I don't see it because I don't see him as a racist at all anyway. Because he wants to temporarily ban Muslims coming in this country. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with safety. And by the way, is if I'm not mistaken, being Muslim has nothing to do with the color of your skin. You can be Asian Muslim, you can be white Muslim, you can be black Muslim, or you could be brown Muslim. You could be, any race can be Muslim. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with religion. Oh, no, aren't we supposed to be separation of church and state? So he is actually basing it on what is happening in other countries because of the rise of radical Islam against Christianity. and they're afraid of, and he's actually doing it to protect these groups that they are saying that he's not there to protect, and he's causing discomfort for. He's actually doing it to protect people who believe in their different sexual orientation, or women, to protect them, or protect religion. It has to do with protection of gender and sexual orientation and religion, other than what they claim it has to do with. Because what happens is, if radical Muslims were to come in here, who are their targets going to be? Women, people with alternative sexual lifestyles like LBGT community, or people that are against the Muslim religion. So technically he would be trying to protect them. So they should actually feel the opposite of what they feel. They shouldn't be offended. They should applaud him for protecting them. But they don't, because you know why? Because they are too busy believing the BS that is brought out by the left, that the left is there only to help them. The left is there only to use them. What is socialism and capitalism? We talked about the difference of that. Socialism is the government controls it. The government gives what they think you should have. What's capitalism? You build it yourself, and other people help build you. And people build themselves up. They build businesses. Well, if the government owns everything, you think anybody's going to take a chance to go build their own business? Hell no. Innovation goes to nothing. Take a look at the socialism over in North Korea. Right now, they're warning. There's an actual warning out that North Korea. Let me see if I can find that article here. It was just a recent one I saw it. It says alert. Air Force warns of North Korea launching nuclear weapon and causing an EMP explosion. And it's on the whole West Coast. It says, according to experts, North Korea is testing missiles to launch a nuclear weapon from a ship off the U.S. coast into the atmosphere. The explosion could shut off electricity for months through an electromagnetic pulse, EMP explosion. It says officials have raised new worries and determined adversaries want to attack the grid either with a physical hit or potential EMP attack. So experts have suggested that North Korea, for example, is testing missiles to launch a nuclear weapon from a ship off the U.S. coast into the atmosphere, where the explosion could shut down electricity for months. So imagine having your power go out. You know, I'm getting a call coming in here. Let's see what we got. Well, they must have lost the call. I didn't get it. Well, oh well. But, I mean, if you get, let's say an EMP attacks in the West Coast, or it doesn't matter where, any major city. Imagine being down, having everything electric that you own gone for months. You know how long it would take to get a city back online? That's scary. I mean, I don't know how long that would take, but it would be. I mean, they'd have to be bringing in, all kinds of parts from all the other states. So it says, and an Air Force briefing provided. This is from the Examiner. The service raised concerns about aging infrastructure, a growing number of cyber attacks on the grid. I guess there's attacks happen every day, cyber attacks as they call them. So, I mean, where to be able to defend all this stuff all the time has got to be just impossible. So, where is where's it headed? But tell you how we are so worried about PC and we do everything. This is a bank. It says a San Francisco man's online payment was blocked by his bank earlier this month because his dog's name sounded like a terrorist network. It says Bruce Francis, who has multiple sclerosis, was transferring money from his Chase bank account to his dog walker. And he put the 9-year-old pit bull's moniker, Dash, in the memo line. Bank officials thought Dash sounded a little too bit like Daesh, the Arabic term for self-described Islamic State, and canceled the payment. It says Chase also flagged the payment with the U.S. Treasury Department, which placed a note on Francis' account asking him to explain what Dash means. One Francis explained to the officials at the State Department, Department of Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, that Dash was his dog's name. His payment was processed. So despite the inconvenient mix-up, Francis says he has no hard feelings. He think anything we can do to stop terrorists and the funding of terrorists, let's do it. But how does Dash, D-A-S-H, get even close to D-A-E-S-H? So I'm like, we are so panicked. So the more, let's say, people are going, oh, it's okay, do whatever you have to do to keep us safe. Well, the problem is they want to trigger stuff to get us locked down even more. Anytime an attack happens in the United States, they immediately want to do is, they need to get rid of these guns. They need to get rid of those. I said there was a great article that came out today. It says our country has nuclear weapons that could do is obliterate the world, and they're worried because I have a 30-round magazine. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think that they think if they take away guns from people that are legitimate gun owners, that the bad people will stop shooting people. The bad people are going to, they're going to commit crimes. They don't care. They're going to do is use a knife. Or even one of these little fancy, like this, pair of scissors. Doesn't matter. Bad people are going to be bad people. Way back in the days before they had guns, way back in the caveman days, they used to beat them to death with a club. So, it doesn't matter. Taking away everything from all people will not stop the bad people. So, yeah, I been watching the Iowa news. Looks like two of the bills that we're trying to go through that to get passed. One, the suppressor bill is going to pass through, but it may not be signed. And ATV, being able to carry concealed while on an ATV, because a lot of times you never know. You might be riding an ATV and come across. We have different types of animals out here. You never know what you're going to run into. But the one that was trying to be championed for allow you to teach your kids under 14 years of age to shoot handguns in the presence of an adult or the parent, that one failed. And I'm like, they were telling them that these the people that were the Democratic Iowa senators and Congress were saying, "Oh well, it'll allow 1, 2, and 3-year-olds to go around armed." It's such a stupid statement. And tell you how stupid it was. It made it all the way to China. They said, and then they had people in China thinking that Iowa, kids in Iowa are going to be walking around with guns at 1, 2, and 3 years old. They're just stupid. I guarantee you, every one of those people that think that or act that way, or these liberals that act that way, have never handled a gun, have never been trained to handle a gun. We were talking about this today, and somebody mentioned that, how Oprah would come out and she was so talking down about guns, but her security detail had guns to protect her. Yeah, it's pretty easy to sit there and say, you shouldn't have a gun, but all my people protecting me should. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's like the president. It's ridiculous that these kids, go to school and they should have to deal with this. We should get rid of all guns. Oh, but no, people protecting my kids at school, they're fine. Yeah. Yeah, they should be able to have guns. Not you, though. Nothing to see here. Keep going, moving on, I just like... my kids aren't, important enough to them, or my family isn't important enough to them that I shouldn't be able to protect them. But they should be able to protect themselves. They should be able to have 30 Secret Service around them with guns and fully automatic weapons. But not you. No. You're not trusted. You shouldn't be trusted. So we also had we had a motorcycle. Mike Allen shared this on Facebook, and I hate to see stuff like this, but a Patriot Guard was in a motorcycle in a funeral procession, was killed by a van entering a shopping center. This happened in St. Louis, Missouri. A Patriot Guard riot captain riding a motorcycle at the tail vehicle in a funeral procession was fatally struck Monday while en route to Jefferson's Barracks Cemetery, police said. Police said the 64-year-old Mark Schroeder was struck by a vehicle while attempting to turn into Walmart's shopping plaza at the intersection. And it goes through tells the intersection. Schroeder was heading northbound on Telegraph Road as the last vehicle in the procession at the time of the crash. So, you think about this. Somebody trying to cut through traffic because they don't want to sit there and have to wait for a funeral procession. And they were the end of it. People are so impatient. Can't wait. Gotta go. I laugh at people. They sit there and they'll fly by me and they'll get up there, and what I might do, we get up the next light and I'm pulled right up next to them. But they'll drive 20 miles over the speed limit, race up to the next red light, and I'll pull up there doing the speed limit. And I'm like going, yeah, where did it get you? But, people are so impatient that they will run you over to get to their thing. They get to their Walmart and buy their freaking cheap crap. This guy died because they were so impatient. I was talking to my nephew Sunday at Easter. He got in an accident. Some lady sideswiped him, knocked him into the ditch, and his insurance company said he was still 10% at fault because he should have seen it coming. I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm not one of the psychic twins, I would have told him. But same thing happened to my daughter. My daughter's driving down the street, and a car was getting ready to turn into the grocery store and turns right into the side of her car. Waited for the FedEx truck to get by. After the FedEx truck, turned right after it and sideswiped right into her. Didn't even pay attention that she was there. The people are so impatient. You just sit there and shake your head at things that happen all day long. You wait you're waiting at a red light and you're waiting for it, and it's starting to change, and you watch how many people gas it because they don't want to wait 20 seconds or 30 seconds to have to sit through a red light. So I got another article here that's coming out, and this is two articles that actually are related to each other. And they're going to relate to each other in the long run. It says California is just raising their minimum wage to $15 an hour. But this article that I'm talking about, this came out of Bloomberg Business. And it says, and it was talking about understanding the Republican candidates' anti-free trade working class appeal. And it talks about this. It says, this is, the article was, it says the 89% pay cut that brought Trump mania to America's heartland. It said amid the rugged cattle farms in the hills, southern country, and clearing just beyond the smoke shack barbecue joint, and the Faith Baptist Church lie remains of A.O. Smith Electronic Motor Company. It had been 8 years since the doors were shut. The building blue metal facade has faded to a dull hue. Rust is eating away at the scaffolding piled up in the back, and crabgrass has taken over the lawn. At its zenith, the plant employed 1,100 people, economic juggernaut in the tiny town of Scottsville, population 4,226. Randall Williams and his wife, Brenda, were two of those workers. For 3 decades, they helped assemble the hermetically sealed motors that power air conditioners sold all across America. At the end, they were both making $16.10 an hour. That kind of money is just a dream now. Randall fills orders at a local farm supply store. Brundle works in high school cafeteria. For a while, he said their combined income didn't even add up to one of their old factory wages. Just as Williamses were being informed by A.O. Smith that they'd be let go, a young Mexican woman named Zoraida Gonzalez was hired some 1,200 miles away in the hard-scrapple town of Acuna, just over the Rio Grande from Texas. To replace its Kentucky output, A.O. Smith was ramping up production in the lower-cost Mexico, a move facilitated by signing a decade earlier of its North American Free Trade Agreement. Gonzalez was brought in to help handle phone calls. Now 30 years old and in charge of payroll, she makes about $1.75 an hour, on par with wages earned on the plant's assembly line. May not seem much by U.S. standards, or for the matter, to some of the workers toting the heat in the Kunis factories. To Gonzalez, though, the money has been life-changing. It has been given her things she says her mother never had: a washing machine, cable TV, a Ford Freestar minivan that she shared with her boyfriend. I said, you think about that, and hope their 11-year-old son will be the first family member to attend college. So you think about that. This family's devastated here in the United States, and she's making $1.75 an hour. You think that these companies at $15 an hour in California that might have been paying $10 or whatever they are now, if they doubled their salaries, the cost of their salaries, what are they going to do to make this? They have a profit margin that they're going to make. They're not designed to be lost leaders or lose business. What do you think they're going to do? Do you think if you're making $12 an hour and they say, okay, everybody goes to 15, and this guy was at 8, now he goes to 15, he makes $7 more. Do you think that guy that's at 12 is going to go to 19? Nope. He goes to 15. They're all going to be paid the same. If they keep all those jobs. What is the result of going to $15 an hour? What is the result of the businesses moving to Mexico? I could name multiple plants around this country that have gone and devastated communities. And they're there to cut their payroll down. They don't have unions in Mexico. They don't have to worry about paying them any retirement or anything like that. And we sit there and lap up their products like they're freaking crack on candy. I'm like, I won't buy a Carrier air conditioner now. I won't buy a Oreo cookie. I won't buy a Ritz cracker. And I won't buy a Maytag washer or dryer or anything Maytag. Maytag used to be in Galesburg, Illinois, not far from here. And they totally pulled up roots and went to Mexico. It's amazing how people, if it's not their community, a company will devastate a community in the United States and leave like that and go to Mexico. And not think anything about it. And people go, oh, yeah, I'll buy one of those. Oh, yeah, it's cheaper now. Look at that. I can buy that. It just makes you shake your head. And then if you see something that's American made, says made in USA, like, oh, yeah, I want that. Oh, my God, but it's too expensive. I'm not going to pay that, you know. You know, it's what's the TPP? What's that going to do for us? I think it's only going to kill our economy. Our economy's got enough problems now. You know, they think that the golf business now, almost everything is made in China. You can't keep up. You can't make enough profit or make it cheaply enough to make a profit off of it to be able to sell it and make it in the United States. I mean, it's a shame. And sooner or later, China's going to say, hey, you know what? We can't, we're done. We're closing up. Something's going to happen. Or they're going to say, you know what? We're not going to make your products anymore. So, I don't know. It's just a shame to see what good paying jobs that this country had have gone to just be demolished. Where do you think, at $15 an hour, which that's what they want to do, is they think that if they, let's say you're a company that employs 1,000 people. What's the average, or what's the percentage of population that makes a minimum wage. About 5%. And most of those are entry level, like young kids that are going through high school and stuff. So then when they do is move it from $15 to $15 an hour, what do you think that's going to do when let's say you think about it. Think about let's say you had just moving it from, let's say you had employees that worked at $10 an hour. Half again as much of payroll. How big a hit that's going to be. You know, I used to have people come to the golf course and they say, you need to drop your rates by $5. So I say, okay. So let's say we do 25,000 rounds. And you drop them by $5 a piece. I said, where do we make up the $125,000 that we just took out of the revenue generator? They said, okay, well, you'll make it up in more play. Okay. How many more rounds do you have to do to break back to even before you start making any money? It's exactly the same way with your payroll. How many people do they have to do is cut to get back to where they make the same profit? And is it possible to do is cut enough people and still keep the same product level and same efficiency and everything without having to raise prices too much? Because they're going to offset the prices. There will no longer be a $1 menu at McDonald's. It'll be a $5 menu or higher. It's just common sense. People go, I want Bernie Sanders because he's going to give us free college. Okay? You're going to pay for that free college the rest of your life. It's called property tax. Think about it. Well, it's time to call it a night. We'll be back Friday. We're going to talk about, hopefully we can get some information. We did a ghost hunt Saturday night at the golf course. They're working on all the audio. We had 6 audio recorders. I actually had, I got 1 digital audio recorder right here. And I also have, that I ran for about an hour and 45 minutes. And I actually live streamed it on Ustream. And I have to go back and check the video to see if I have anything on there. I just haven't had time. So if you want, you can go back and look at. It was Straight Talk Ghost Hunt Live, and it's on Ustream.tv. So if you want to check there, you can go on my Straight Talk with Matt Hasley page or my channel, and you can see it there, and you can go through and see live. I streamed it off my iPad. See if you pick out any orbs or anything moving or noises, or because you've got audio on there too. So, but let me know if you find anything. But if not, I'll see you on Thursday night. Myself and Mike Allen are going to sabotage the Night Talk with Joe Rocks. We're going to see if we can do is run it right into the ground. No. But yeah, we'll be taking over Night Talk with Joe Rocks, and I'll be on also Friday night for Straight Talk. So everybody, have a great night, a great week, and like I like to say, most of all, be safe.